Right, and we are here and ready to go, and just taking a look at the webcam, fucking my webcam at the moment. My hair is going to be a mess, but I don't give a fuck. Let me put this back on and plug this in. Everything seems to be okay and good to go. Everyone is here and is raring to go. Update for everyone before we actually get started. I do have a plan for next week to potentially get webcams up and running. I'm going to see about getting the overlay updated a bit with the new logos and stuff. Have that all up and running, so like the DM, like Dungeon Master, and the logos and the background and all that sort of shit, all up to date to match with the current theme. I'm also going to hopefully make an update so that the dice tray, I don't know why my neck is so red right now, but anyway, the dice tray, which is normally like down here, I'm going to have it like slot up just underneath the webcam, have a full stretch along the bottom for player portraits and stuff like that, and hopefully, fingers crossed, webcams. In process, not a guarantee. So hopefully in the next next week or so, once I've done some experimentation with everyone in the call and stuff like that, hopefully it won't just be my ugly mug that you see. Hopefully everyone else will be running along the bottom and it'll look really nice, and you'll actually be able to see the actual reactions of the players when they do something extremely stupid, or watch them laugh at me when they make me go bright red and say something extremely retarded. But anyway, other than that, we're going to undeafen, unmute, get everything up and running, and say hi to everyone. Hello.
Hi.
Oh, what the fuck is that?
I mean, I think it'll be pretty priceless to see any of our other facial expressions.
Maybe. This is Coralina's crocheted angel statue.
She's special needs. Leave her alone.
She's not special needs. She's adorable.
That is adorable. Shut up.
That's what I just said. I'm not making fun, I promise. Anyway, let's get swiftly into things. I am going to point out to everyone who wasn't here when I said at the time, I am using a nice shiny, kind of platinum-looking die for tonight's session, and it has been rolling extremely well for me whenever I've rolled, because that's yet another natural 20. So I'm going to be rolling extremely high tonight. I can't fucking wait for it. But
jinxed it.
Oh, did I
deploy every hack?
That's a 16 right there. That's a 16, and someone's just got on disadvantage for the rest of the night for deploying hacks. Adam.
I wouldn't even know where to start.
I know you wouldn't. Anyway, right. Moving swiftly onwards. Last week, after successfully helping Calvin and... Oh, fuck. What was that? Sorry, everything just flashed on my screen for a second there. Successfully helping Calvin and Caitlin deal with the interesting creatures that were assaulting their flock of cows and killing and brutally tearing them apart. You did a little bit of investigation after Calvin, Caitlin, and Fenrir, their farmhand, informed you that they had been approaching initially from the southeast of the farmland. As you went southeast to investigate, you actually spotted one of these creatures that seemed to be guarding a cave entrance before it disappeared inside. Upon further investigation, heading into the cave, you could hear something being worked on, almost the sound of humming of an individual coming from deep within. And as you approached, you noticed a somewhat familiar-looking figure as you entered the main structure of the cave, which I'll actually bring up on the screen so that everyone can get reacquainted with what happened here. Oh yeah, sort this out. There we go. That looks much better. And in said cave, you actually came across what looked to be a Glabrezu. However, before drawing your weapons and engaging this Glabrezu in combat, the Glabrezu actually spoke to you, which is completely out of character, to put it in a more blunt way. Glabrezu, from what you would know with your experience with them, are more primitive, more bestial demons that seem to just attack and want to kill rather than converse. During your conversation, two of the party members, willingly or not, had their names revealed to the demon, who used their names against them, divulging that giving your name to a demon, devil, or fae is almost like surrendering complete control of yourself to that being by making Neftari kneel and Coralina prostrate herself before the demon himself actually gave you his name of Trogdaran. Neftari, you also signed a contract with Trogdaran where you commissioned, I believe it was 4 of these beasts that you had slain before, which Trogdaran actually explained were his steel predators, constructed creatures that are like faithful hounds that are used to guard locations or hunt down prey for their owners, and are very obedient creatures once you obtain them. It may or may not have been a terrible decision. Who knows? You will find out at some point. After completing the contract, no one else providing their name, you all slowly backed out of the cave, made your way back up to the farmland, where you are now awaiting the decision of your next move. So, what would you all like to do?
Okay, we should tell the farmer what's going on, or he wanted to be kept secret in that. We should at least tell the farmer the beast won't be back.
Yes, he did. The interesting beast in the cave did say that those two that escaped had gone rogue, so presumably, assuming he was telling the truth, then no further attacks should take place.
And of course, we don't know for sure.
Yeah, if one goes rogue, fair enough. Look, 2 went rogue. Yeah, he said he fixed.
I still think we should take everything he says with pinches. Those things aren't to be trusted. I'm not sure if the farmer would be better off knowing or not knowing.
Well, we
I
don't have to tell him
mean-
the whole truth.
I mean, you could always just tell him, hey, if those things ever come back, we could probably deal with them again.
Yeah, he pays well, actually.
I was just thinking more of the fact of we have this demon's name, so if he did to me what we could do to him, he would be inclined for him to not step out of line.
And how exactly does one go about controlling the mind of another using only their name?
Would I know this, DM?
Would
Sorry.
I?
Sorry, both of you rephrase that. I'm getting an issue here on my overlay. I'm trying to fix.
We're discussing whether or not we'd know how to control a being from knowing their name in the same way the Glabrezu.
Both of you go ahead and roll me Arcana checks.
We learned a long time ago not to ever tell our name to a wizard.
Wow, what the fuck? That's 2 natural 20s. What the fuck?
This is platinum dice, I tell you.
I'll switch that hack off now, shall I?
Adam, you get disadvantage for the rest of the night. Fuck you. Wow, that's bullshit. Okay, you know what? Carolina, no, actually, Carolina, you've already rolled a fucking natural 20. Adam, go ahead and roll me a d20, and if this is a natural 20, then I'm fucking killing you all.
Christ.
If this is a natural 20, I'm going to kill your character. Alright, that's alright then. You're good.
Today.
You're lucky. You're lucky for now. You're lucky for
See,
now.
so Adam has live control of the bot. It doesn't just throw out 20.
Right. But yeah, for both your natural 20s, I can't believe it happened. You believe that, yes, not all creatures are subjected to the same kind of control, knowing their true name. Sapient creatures, like most animals, they don't have a true name. So even if you were to give like a cow or a dog or a cat a name, technically speaking, you can control it. You can give it commands and such like that, but unless it's like completely obedient, doesn't necessarily do as you ask. However, sentient creatures, like most humanoid races, demons, devils, fae, they typically speaking, if a true name is discovered or provided, you can assert control over that being. So since you all knew Trogdaran's true name, if you wanted to, you could have controlled him as you see fit. Your connection to the server has been interrupted. Okay, cool. Thanks, Roll20. But yes, you could most definitely have controlled him and gotten him to do specific things. He can still resist, as you guys could resist, but if he makes the check, then he can tell you no. But if he fails, you would have to do what you ask him to do because you know his true name.
But it's not like a spell or anything.
No, it is just a conscious thing. If you know a being's true name, you can invoke, not really invoke or manipulate the weave to get them to do what you want. It's more of a psychological effect.
I mean, but like I was saying just a couple minutes ago, I mean, if I know somebody's name and if I keep studying as much as I do, I can basically open up a portal and bring them to me. So yeah, a demon's name can definitely have some uses.
Seems dangerous.
Oh, it's terribly dangerous.
And wizards like to know people's names as well. It makes their spells more effective if they direct it to an actual.
Sometimes, I know with mental manipulation that's usually preferred. And like I said, if I just decide to rip open a portal and say if you're like continents away, I could just say your name, open a portal, and you're right in front of me.
I've got a spell where I can influence people's dreams, but it helps if I know the name.
Yeah, as long as you're familiar, yes. So, I guess we're gonna go tell the farmer that hey, if those things decide to come kill cows again, we'll be back, I guess, or
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Then he doesn't assume instead of just go back to town. If we just do, we'll keep him updated because I wouldn't like him to think that we all went off to our deaths in the cave.
yeah, that'd probably be bestly preferred. Well, I'm following you guys. I don't people so well.
Just don't go making promises we can't keep. We don't know how long we're going to be in this area. For all we know, we could be on the other side of the continent.
Okay, so I'd like to blow a maltransposition to like pop over 30 feet, pop back. Wizard!
Yeah, you guys watch as Coralina just vanishes from being immediately next to you to about 30 feet away, and then blinks back to where she was just a few moments before.
I mean, this is like the tip of my potential here.
All I'm saying is we may have bigger and more important things to deal with than saving some cows.
Fair enough. I was just saying that, like, if we know the demon's name and he starts fucking up, then, you just take him down. Yeah, like that.
Contract that Natari signed. I'm sure we
Yeah.
haven't heard the last of him anyway.
Well, I mean, you have to keep in contact with who's spending money with you, right? Isn't that how business works?
Well, in some cases, yes.
And if I break them, at least we know we'll have to come back to get them fixed. Unless they just vanish and reappear here, as you've just demonstrated.
Well, I guess we should go explain things, yeah?
All right, so
It's
you
the
guys are
least
heading
we could
back to
do.
the farmhouse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Takes you another 10, like 15 minutes to trudge your way back up to the farmhouse. As you make your way through the southern field, and as you look back over to where you last saw Fenrir, you can see that he has disappeared. Seemingly finished off with the deconstruction of these creatures, and as you approach the stone wall and pass through the gate, you can see nothing but a charred black patch on the ground. It would seem that the viscous liquid that powers or like flows through the steel predators is extremely flammable, from as far as you can tell. As you progress back up the stairs over through over the portion back into the farmhouse. Calvin is there, just sat on one of the large leather armchairs that's just before a soft burning fireplace. Catelyn is nowhere to be seen at the moment. But as you approach and enter, Calvin turns to you. Oh, you're all back. It's good to see you all again. How did it go?
I mean, so, there was a cave there, and, basically, you don't have to worry about them anymore.
We don't. Oh, that's wonderful news. Oh, what happened? Were they? Oh, what are they? Did you find out what they are or where they come from?
Uh,
Well,
technically,
there were three of them. Three of them we came across.
Yeah,
Three more.
they belong to somebody. There are more, but those two that came over here, he'd lost control of them, and he was thankful that we'd taken care of the problem.
Oh, so it wasn't an intentional attack. It was something that just got out of hand.
Imagine, to use analogous terms, someone had a pack of dogs. These two went stray by the sounds of it.
Went stray and got rabies. They don't have rabies, by the way. Yeah, there's no need to worry.
I don't think creatures like these can get rabies, but that's just from what I've seen of the insides of these beings from Fenrir dismantling them. But if they're not going to be a ball or two, a flock of cows anymore, then I can only thank you more. I don't have anything more to offer you, I'm afraid. You've done more of a service for myself, my wife, and my hand for dealing with these two beasts initially. But
The reward has been plenty.
well,
Wait a minute. Did you say a flock of cows? Like a
yes.
flock of birds?
Well,
Can cows already fly?
no. And you watch as Calvin just kind of glances from Temple to all the other of you, like, what?
Never mind.
it was a special case circumstance, involving magic. For a smile.
Magic, right?
Yes.
Well, you keep doing your magic thing. Cows do not fly, neither do pigs. If I have any other need of your assistance, I will be sure to send up another contract to the Broken Candle. I'm sure Alex will be able to get that information to you and send you back up here for more assistance if I require it. But if you say that the danger has passed, then I can only offer you my everlasting gratitude for your assistance in this matter.
Ah, so you know the broken candle well then? Just are those guys above board or what? Well, you've got a funny vibe in there.
Oh, well, as far as I can tell, Alex herself is above board. She's she's a businesswoman, so she's she's in it for the money. The patrons that stay there, I'm not so sure of. No offense meant when I say this, but they are adventurers just like you, and most time adventurers are just in it to further their own goals. So if they're not completely above board, that's down to them. But
Yeah.
it would not surprise me if one of them tries to stab you in the back for a contract if you take it before them. I would be careful though around there.
We don't intend on spending too much time there if we can help it. You ever heard talk of a thieves guild or anything like that coming out of the area?
Thieves Guild? No, 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 no. WestRuun, the authority in WestRuun is very strict on ensuring that the only kind of guild that is ever in place is a merchant's guild. It's more to make sure that everyone has a fair trading practice so that there won't be any fighting amongst marketplaces to undercut or make more of a profit than anyone else. But thieves and assassins and fighters, there's no guilds like that as far as I'm aware.
Okay. That's good to know.
Well, shall we maybe head back to town, or do we have a more pressing location to get?
I mean, I'd like to head back to town. I actually have money now.
Wait, these strapping young men didn't provide you any money to assist you?
I
He
mean,
kind of
more
like
more
he
like I
has a
didn't
look of
ask.
shock on his face, and then like as you say that, Carolina, he kind of just looks to you and gives you a wink before a grin pops up on his face. I wasn't being serious, young lady.
Okay.
Hey, we'll head
Yes,
back.
yes.
Right, so what's the plan, guys?
I think we should get going. We've got a conversation with the Silver Dragonborn to have.
Silver Dragonborn? You don't see many of them around these parts.
No. We may be of interest.
Well, do be very careful around them. Especially if it's one without a tail. They can be, quite aggressive. Quite defensive, given what has happened to them.
Yes,
Well, what's
yes,
happened
what
if just
Oh,
What's-
well,
yeah? What does it mean if they've not got a tail?
well, Dragonborn have tails typically. The Revenites don't have tails.
Oh, it's not like a mark of shame or something, and
Oh, no, 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 no. The Dragonborn around these parts, they've been more attuned to the draconic heritage. Some of them, or most of them even, are born with a draconic tail. But the Revenites, they were not. They are seen as a lower class, almost slaves, as far as I'm aware, anyway. So if this Dragonborn that you're speaking of doesn't have a tail, I would be very wary of him.
Okay, I look round. Did he ever? No.
I'm pretty sure he had a tail.
I mean, you don't stop to look at another man's tail, do you?
Not having one myself, I'm unaccustomed to it. But sure enough, when he left the bar, as far as I could tell, there was a tail dragging behind him.
Well, perhaps he will be at least slightly more trustworthy. But again, if he is an adventurer like you in the Broken Candle, don't be too careful.
He seemed pleasant enough. We just may need to gather
Everyone
some
does.
information from him.
Everyone does seem nice enough to begin with until they stab you in the back. Just be careful out there.
I think we're all learning that lesson. I'm going to turn and make my way out.
And I walk
Start
away.
preparing to hit the road.
Alright, is everyone following suit? Is everyone heading out and heading back to WestRuun?
Yes, I am.
Yep.
On the way back, I'm eyeing the sky suspiciously for bovine creatures.
As you stare up into the sky, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Don't fail me now, dice.
16. As you look up, you swear you see what looks to be a pig flying, but as it clears from the clouds, it's just a bird. But
Never mind.
you keep an eye out, wondering if there's any bovine creatures that are going to swoop down upon you. Alright, so you guys. Sorry, what was that?
As we're walking out, I'll cast message to Vic. Is our agreement still okay?
Oh yeah, I'm quite happy to take the weight off and enjoy the ride.
Okay. Thank you.
Anytime.
Alright. So, as you guys are silently making your way back to the horse and cart,
Did I? Was Temple's gaze up to the sky lengthy and quite obvious?
yes, Temple was like just staring up to the sky, looking around constantly. Just the only time he would glance down is to make sure that he's still following behind you guys.
As we head back, can I use a minor illusion to conjure
Oh
And-
no!
now 30 feet in the air?
I knew you were about to fucking do that. I absolutely knew you were about to do that. Yes, you can go ahead and do that. It doesn't move. I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check minor illusion here.
It does. I'm just looking at myself. It doesn't.
Right, hold on. You create a sound or as you create a sound or an image of an object within range that lasts for the duration. The illusion also ends if you dismiss it as an action or cast the spell again. If you create a sound, it's valid. All right, hold on. You're not doing a sound. If you create an image of an object such as a chair, muddy footprints, or a small chest, it must be no larger than 5-foot cube. The image can't create sound, light, smell, or any other sensory effect. Physical interaction with the image reveals it to be an illusion because things can pass through it.
I want it to be
It
there for a moment or
doesn't-
two, so it doesn't matter if it moves or not.
Yeah, it doesn't strictly say that it can't move. So I'm going to say yes. You can conjure a cow with feathery wings that flies through the sky. Temple, as you're watching this happen, I want you to go ahead and roll me an insight check.
Yes!
What is your spell save? It's only 12.
I really hope I fail it.
Go ahead and roll the save then.
Oh, did you say save? I put check?
No, yeah, sorry, it's a check. It's a check. An insight check versus Victorlus's spell save. And as you glance over, you out the corner of your vision, you see Victorious point up into the sky, and as you follow the direction, you see the cow materialize and fly across the horizon before disappearing again. You know it's just an illusion.
Victoralis, you really got my hopes up there. Don't play with one's mind.
I'll bear that in mind, but I thought it might make you happy.
It did. It did. I can't think of any puns right now, but if I did for flying cow, I'd sure be saying them. Me do words bad.
All right. So, as you guys get back to your horse and cart, strangely enough, the horse and cart has actually been like turned around. It would seem that Fenrir, in your absence, has taken like lead of the two horses and cart and like turned everything around so that upon your return, you're at the correct orientation to leave without too much of a fuss. We have Talar, Victorious, and Temple, and you guys all manage to watch as Neftari makes his way to the front for, controlling the horses, and strangely, Coralina joins him up front.
How tall is the cart? Am I too short to like hop up there?
How tall are you again?
I'm like 5'3".
5'3", yeah. No, it's a little bit of a struggle, but it's not like.
Well, I wasn't planning to jump. I'll just cast levitate on myself and let
I'm
myself
sure,
in.
I'm sure Neftari would put his hand down to lift you.
It's okay. I'll still do levitate.
You just cast levitate on yourself and float up 5 feet, and just gently pop yourself down on the front chair next to Neftari, taking hold of the reins.
There you go. You want to drive?
I don't have much equine experience actually. Like none.
Well, I'll teach you on the way.
Are you necessarily sure that's a good idea?
Everybody should know how to ride a horse. I'm really surprised you don't. You not have horses in the domain?
The most experience I have with horses is in the back of a cart or carriage, actually.
And I thought you would have a Pegasus, like your brothers.
I mean, yeah, they'll go out and, on their own, but I'm not much needed to go out on my own. I'm usually with people.
Perhaps someone should tell Temple about the Pegasus.
Well, I mean, yeah, if he lost his mind over a cow flying, then, I guess a horse would be something completely different.
All right, so is everyone else just hopping into the back, yeah?
Yep.
Sure.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, cool. Who is taking the reins first?
I'm not too good with animals.
Well, that was Neftari and Coralina because you're in the back.
I will, and as we ride, I will show her how to hold the rein.
Okay.
How to control horses.
Neftari, go ahead and roll me an animal handling check, please. 17. Yeah, you've done this many a times in the past. So, with a light crack of the reins and, with a little bit of vocal encouragement, the horses pulling the cart slowly set up to a moderate pace. And before you all know it, you're back on the road, heading southwest back to WestRuun. You can feel free to say or do anything amongst each other for the time being, and if you don't have anything you want to do in this period, of like transitioning from the farm back to WestRuun. I will just fast forward. So if you have anything to do, please go ahead and do so.
I'd like to spend my time reading my book, Geology for Dummies.
Yeah, go ahead and do
It may
so.
come in. It may come in handy.
Anyone else got anything that they would like to do?
Taylor's gonna be sitting at the back of the cart and
Mhm.
kind of looking out the back, watching the scenery pass and making sure nobody's like following.
Okay.
Obviously,
Well, once you get
just in case this changes anyone's mind about what they're doing, just a reminder that I read out loud.
okay, but as you're watching behind Talar, like once you get back onto the main road that connects WestRuun up to like the Turse Fields and up to the like the Jordan Village, WestRuun, and like other cities beyond that, like going up to Craghammer and such. There are other horses and carts that do, like, as you make your way on, there are some behind you, there are some in front of you. So go ahead and roll me an insight check. 13. It doesn't seem like anyone's following you from the dirt track as after you've made your way onto the main road from the farmland and continued on. Some of the carts are actually moving at a brisker pace than yours. So a lot of them, well, not a lot of them, but some of them have overtaken you on the road. Like 2 or 3 have passed by you. The last few of them seem to just be staying at a distance. So perhaps they're following, but more than likely, these are just people in transit.
she'll just kind of keep watching generally. You know,
Mhm.
if anything were to happen, like something major or whatever.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Victorless, anything else you're wanting to do during this downtime?
No, I'll just be sitting fairly close to the front of the cart in case our 2 drivers get distracted and I need to hop in and take control of the reins for any reason.
Go ahead and roll me a perception check. You eavesdropping little bastard. I mean, what? I didn't say anything. Oh yeah, that's another natural. That's another natural 20. That's 3 this session. You know, I'm fucking popping the pen out of my phone here, and I'm going to be taking note of how many nat 20s there are.
Ban.
I mean, can you
Nat
throw Avray in dice jail?
20s. I can't.
No.
There's been 3 so far, and I actually am keeping a track of this. Yeah, so yeah, Victorless, you can hear anything that's going on up front. So yeah, Neftari, Coralina, what are you guys doing on the route back?
So I'm super sorry about Barkley. He is just really like, I guess, set in his ways, and he's really competitive. I mean, you should have seen him back home. He was the only people that really got much out of him were people in the higher structure of familiars, such as my brother's familiar, of course. But yeah, he's just really stubborn, and I'm so sorry.
So it's not just me he doesn't like, then it's most people.
I mean, typically, yeah. I mean, he hates my sister Makani's familiar with a burning passion.
What's her familiar?
Well, it's a Tressum.
You what now?
Go ahead and roll me a nature check, please, Neftari. 18. You've heard of the name, but you've never really done any research into them because it sounds so kind of stupid. Go ahead, Carolina.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean when a Tressum is a form of a predator that you don't necessarily like, and it turns out it can fly just as fast as you can. Yeah, There we had a rule that no familiars at dinner.
For those of you not in the know, a Tressum is a flying cat.
Cool.
I have in my mind now a scene of utter.
I mean, he just likes to make sure he provides well enough and serves me well enough that well, I mean, before any of you guys, I mean, he was my only friend.
Whoa, really? What did you keep you in a cell?
No, it was just the only men that, or the only people that would really deal with me were servants, my siblings, possible suitors, and occasionally some of Father's political allies that would come visit, but that's about it.
Well, my experience has shown a lot of friends are overrated. They usually let you down and stab you in the back. I think these guys are okay.
Never mind. Remembered, I can't hear them.
Nope. The only one that can hear them at the moment is Victorious, who's
And he has to hear them
You're
over
very
me
loud.
reading out
Yeah,
loud.
reading.
Yeah, but with a natural 20, you can hear these two over tempo. You basically you've experienced it enough that you've learned to tune tempos out, reading aloud out, and focus on the conversation that you're devilishly listening into.
My acute elven ears.
What do your elven eyes see? They're taking the hobbits to Isengard.
You can tune me out all you like. You can tune me out all you like. Neftari, not Neftari. Everyone else in the back of the car is learning geology.
Uh-huh. Right, is there anything else that you two are wanting to discuss up front that Victorious is definitely not listening to?
Oh yeah, definitely not listening to.
Definitely not.
So no, you go ahead.
I was going to say something that I'm going to say is a bit closer to WestRuun.
So go ahead,
Okay.
Carolina.
So I guess when we get back to WestRuun, I'm gonna go, I guess, back to that shop and see about if he has a spare spell book, or I've got enough money now that I can invest in two, and because I think it'd make more sense to have a backup to a backup. I might ask you to hang on to one of them, and Vic's gonna probably have the other one, just so in case, gods forbid, my first spellbook gets either incinerated, broken, or otherwise probably shenanigans involving Temple.
Yep. Vanished to another dimension.
Yeah. Something like that, or, to avoid getting arcanely castrated in combat.
I have a pocket. I think it'll hold a book.
I mean, I can see if I can find a pocket-sized spellbook. Do they sell pocket-sized spellbooks, DM, you think?
I mean, it's possible. It would be a little bit difficult to copy your spells over, but all a
I mean, I
spellbook.
could learn to write small.
All a spellbook essentially is the magical paper, like pages and inks that are bound together. So you could, in theory, make the pages a lot smaller and write really small. As long as it's legible for you, it should still function the same.
Will a small one not be a bit difficult? I mean, in the heat of battle, it's a dark dungeon, and you're there trying to quickly read a spell, and you instead of casting a swarm of bats, you cast a swarm of cats or something. How do they work?
Well, okay, so think of it like this. I still need it there for references to get the proper pronunciation and whatnot. But when you've read a book imagine reading the book, and then you've read the same book for 20 or for 15 years. You kind of remember how things go.
I'll take your word for that. I've never read a book that much.
You don't read?
Not really.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
All right, is that you guys? Or
think
sorry,
so.
Nashtar, you had something you wanted to say as you were approaching WestRuun, yeah?
As we get closer to the town, I want to suggest, perhaps we should get some sort of disguise for you as we get into town, just in case you're recognized. I'm not sure about going back to that.
Well, I mean, do I just need to keep my face obscured?
I don't know.
I mean, I just gestured down at my cowl. I mean, this keeps me pretty obscured usually, and I'll pull the hood up. It's the Cowl of Stars DM.
Mm-hmm. Are you using it?
Yeah, I'm just pulling it up so I can show that it does obscure my
And
face.
are you activating it?
As long as I don't activate any of the stars, I'm just like showing off what it can do.
Okay. Yeah, so as Coralina like pulls up the the hood of this cowl that she's wearing, once the hood actually crosses the threshold that is her forehead, you see her face is immediately shrouded in a midnight blue kind of veil of darkness, Nethari. Focusing like intensely, you can see her features, the features of her face through the darkness, but it is that deep like midnight blue color that is completely covering her face. And after a few moments, you then see 5 pinpricks of light. One blue, one red, one yellow, one purple, and one green, and they seem to float like aimlessly beneath the hood. Sometimes they collide with each other, sometimes they just float into the darkness and vanish as if going to the back of the hood, and then appear on the other from the left side and just float aimlessly around.
Oh, that looks amazing, but I was thinking something more that didn't draw any attention to yourself like that.
Out of character, Coralina has many things. Subtle is not one of them.
That is very true.
All right, I'll take the hood down.
Okay.
Okay, so what then?
I don't know.
I mean, I've got that same spell I've used before to make myself look more like elven, but
That'll probably do it.
Okay. I'll blow a spell slot for disguise self.
Yep. Cool. What are you looking like?
I guess I'm going with the default of looking more like an elven individual.
Elven individual. Okay, yeah, no problem. The light blue color of your skin becomes a lot more tanned. And your eyes like suddenly like develop a deep kind of cobalt blue color to your iris. Your clothing completely kind of melds into yourself, and it seems like after a few moments, Nethar, you see that she seems to be just wearing like a typical set of leather armor and what seems to be a crossbow or something like a crossbow strapped to her hip. But as you as curiosity gets a hold of you, kind of reach over to the crossbow in your hand, actually phases clean through it as everything.
I'd like to
about
think
her
it's
is,
like where the crossbow is like where the spell book is. So
Yeah.
it's like there's the leather pouch of where the spell book lives.
yeah. So you do feel something, but it's definitely not made of wood. And as you kind of pull your hand away, you know that if this is just a basic illusion that you've seen Coralina cast on herself before.
Does this seem okay?
Yep. Perfect. Full of nifty little tricks, aren't you?
Typically.
What you get out of books? You'll have to read one of those one day.
I mean, depending on what you're looking for, I mean, possibilities are endless when it comes to literature.
All right.
I
So
tend,
with
I
that,
tend just to look at the pictures.
Well, most of mine don't have pictures, unfortunately.
all right. With that, as you guys make your way back to WestRuun, as you guys pass through the northeastern gate, making your return. Victorious, are you still eavesdropping on their conversation, which you were definitely not doing beforehand, or has your focus changed?
No, I mean, if the cart seems to be travelling along safely enough, then I'm not too bothered about what they're talking about.
All right, cool.
I'm going to learn about rocks from Temple.
Learn a little bit about rocks from Temple. Cool. Talar, what are you doing?
She's still watching out the back.
Okay, go ahead and roll me a investigation check.
Oops.
That's another natural 20.
Oh wow.
As you kind of as you're like watching out of the cart and looking around, you can see that there are a couple of individuals on the outside of the wall, the caravans that are in transit. Some do catch your eye, as a few of the individuals look at your cart and point in your general direction.
I'd like to see if there's anything noticeable about those particular cards. Like if there's something that would be like a symbol or something like just
Your natural
noticeable, a certain tear or
With your natural 20,
clothing.
you can see that nothing about the individuals that are looking and pointing in your general direction is of noticeable value, but the cart that they return to is one of the very few carts that have a black tarp that covers over the top of it. The rest of them, from what you've seen, are all like a white or a cream colored tarp that goes over the top. This one is like a deep black color. It's one of the very few that are that you've seen on your travels.
Okay. Is Temple still blabbing away about
Temple
rocks
is
and whatnot?
still blabbing away about rocks, and Victorious is actually like hand in chin, resting on his knee, listening into Temple's reading aloud about rocks.
It's probably because I'm on the chapter about gemstones, which is interesting.
Very interesting.
Well, some of my ancestors are said to have lived long enough to see the formation of such crystals.
And she basically takes a quick glance back to see what they're doing, and she's going to keep a mental note of this black tarp. And when we're no longer traveling, probably make mention to someone.
Okay. As
But
you're
in the meantime, she's going to stick her head back out and just kind of watch for more.
as you're watching, they seem to be talking amongst themselves and pointing in your general direction. As you pass over the threshold of the walls of WestRuun, what they're doing is obscured by the wall, but the last thing you see is them seemingly point directly at you. There are other carts traveling by, but there's something that's is something that's there in the back of your head that you're the focus of their attention, or at least your cart is the focus of their attention.
She just as she's starting to, we're starting to pass into the gates. Her eyes kind of squint just a little bit, like she's trying to focus on them and figure out what they're doing, but obviously by that point, can't see anything beyond that.
Can't see anything, yeah. All right.
So, would she have picked up on any particular descriptions of the people near
Not at
the?
that distance, no. The only thing that you
Okay.
could really see was the black tarp of the cart. No discernible features of the individuals.
Okay.
Okay, so are you guys just heading straight back to the Broken Candle, or what you guys want to do?
Neftari, you've got an awful lot of money. Maybe you'd like to spend some of it.
Well, I'm banned from the magic shop.
What time of day is it, DM?
It's currently pushing mid-afternoon, about 2, maybe 3 in the afternoon. You did wake up quite early to from your long rest to go and speak to Calvin, and it was only like a half hour to and from the cave, and maybe an hour spent at the cave. So by that time, it would have been roughly like 8 or 9 in the morning, and then the half day's travel would probably be around 2 or 3 in the afternoon for you to be back in Stillman. Sorry, not Stillman, WestRuun.
Well, Neftari, maybe we could get yourself a better staff, or maybe find me a bigger shield. Or maybe get a present for someone. And I sort of gesture over to Carolina, but without drawing her attention.
Go ahead and
This is
roll a
sliding.
deception check.
Okay. Also, I'm not intending to be deceitful, by the way. Is this just
know,
to
it's
see
just
if
to-
Carolina notices?
Yeah, let's see if Carolina notices. Yeah, no, she notices. Absolutely. You don't even need to roll for that, Carolina. You definitely notice. Temple is kind of leaning in, having a kind of hushed conversation with Nestari, and as you glance over, you do see Temple kind of obviously point in your direction.
Just an arm's length point. That's so Temple.
Right. Well, if you guys are gonna go back to the inn, I have to go get that spare spell books. So I don't get arcanely like castrated again.
This magic shop, Carolina, did the owner seem fairly proficient and knowledgeable?
Yeah, he seemed well enough. Bit of an alchemist actually.
Interesting. I might join you.
Okay.
I'd like to come with if that's all right.
Is the air around me getting more awkward?
I sniff the air. Don't smell anything.
Right. Well, if we want to go, we can go ahead and go, because I'd rather get it sooner rather than later, please. Thank you.
We'll get the horses back.
We'll take care of this and meet you back at the inn in what, say an hour?
Yeah, do you feel safe going back to that inn? I mean, surely there must be other inns.
I'm sure there are, but my intention is not to use their facilities. It's to have a chat with our Silver Dragonborn friend about that pendant.
Okay, Min Temple will get these horses back and we'll see. Be careful.
Give you enough time to do a bit of shopping if you need to.
Alright, so Temple and Nestari, you guys are going to go and return the horses and cart to the stable, while Coralina, Talar, and Victoris, you guys are all going
Boy, I get
to...
mom and dad.
You get mom and dad, yeah. As you go back to Crixum's Oddities, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Right, we will start off with the three of you as you disembark from the horse and cart and make your way back through the winding streets of WestRuun. you get the feeling that the day is slowly coming to a close, as there are it's heavily populated. People are going about their own business, either doing last minute errands or seemingly returning home from a day of business. After about 15 minutes of traveling, since Corlina, the last time you left Crixham's Oddities, it was a bit of a rush.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
But a little bit of a rush. You finally managed to find your way back to the shop. The torches are still lit in the window frame, and the door appears to be open.
All right, I'll drop my disguise self as I enter.
Okay. Talar and Victorlus, you guys just following suit?
Yeah, following.
Yep.
Okay. As you enter, that same kind of very sweet smell from before, Corleona, just immediately hits your nose.
Does it smell like strawberries?
It does smell like strawberries.
Okay.
And as you glance around again, there's a lot of general items, weapons and ammunition that are scattered around. Quite a few potions here and there of varying sizes and colors. But there doesn't seem to be any sight of the elven man Crixum that you interacted with before.
Okay. I guess I'll go and approach the counter.
There is the bell
Excuse
there
me?
that there was last time.
Oh, I'll just ring the bell then.
Ding! You call out. There's some rustling noise from in the back before the tall elven individual in Crixum pops out from the back. Like, yes, yourself. You're back. And you do not have your imbecile of a friend who stole from me. That is very good. But you have other companions. Good. Welcome to my shop. My name is Crixum. I will offer you a multitude of many different items, ranging from the mundane to the very magical. What can I do for you?
Well,
Look at Carolina.
I'm still in need of a spell book. Did you happen to have two spell books? Preferably one that might be pocket size?
I did go into the back and take a look. I was a little bit distracted by the very illegal actions of your friend, I will add, but I was able to find two spare books which are of the arcane type. One is well, if and he kind of leans over and looks to your kind of hip holster for your current spell book. It'd be about the same size as your one is about the same size as your current spell book. It wouldn't be too difficult to transfer your spells over from that one to this one. But I do have one that is somewhat smaller. It's not too small. I would dare say to call it pocket sized. Maybe if you were to do a little tailor work on your pockets to make them slightly larger, then yes, you could call it pocket sized. But pockets as they are, being quite small, I do not think you would be able to fit it into a pocket.
I mean, that should be okay. Well, how much?
Oh, well, for you, considering that you are very sweet and not a blatant thief after I told you not to touch things, I will say 1,500 gold pieces for the two of them.
That's standard.
And quite, actually, considering that it is a large collection of all the magical papers that you need to create in order to add spells to your repertoire. It is a large
Okay.
collection.
And I have one more thing. Do you offer spell scrolls?
Oh, I can. Depends if my supplier has any available for me.
Comprehend languages?
Possibly. Allow me a few moments to go check the back.
Okay, they won't touch anything.
They better not, otherwise I will throw them out as well. And he gives you a large smile and disappears into the back.
Talar is simply wandering around, just looking.
Victorless, you doing anything in the meantime?
Yeah, again, just kind of lazily. You like when your mum goes shopping.
Yeah,
and
you
you've got
just,
to go with her.
you just
You
kind
just
of
kind of like
stand
looking at
there,
stuff.
like kicking your feet out, looking around at things, pretending to be interested, but no, you're bored. I just want to go home already. Okay, I can imagine that. A few minutes later, Crixum comes back and actually has 3 bundles of paper in his hands. And, well, wouldn't you know, you're quite in luck, my little pretty one. I have here 1 scroll of comprehend languages, and I have 2 other scrolls here. Strangely, one of them is in and kind of unfurls it and looks it over. From what I can guess, it is either abyssal or infernal. They both use the same reference materials after all. This other one, no, I do not actually know this one. It's interesting, to say the least. Who knows? Perhaps you'll be able to understand this. And he doesn't pass it to you. He just like unfurls it and holds it out to you, so that you can take a look at the writing upon it.
Okay.
It is actually something that you can read. This is written in Terran. This is a spell scroll of conjure elemental.
Oh, I already have that one. That one's used to summon larger elementals.
Oh. You can speak the language. Very interesting. You already know the summon elementals.
Oh yeah, they're pretty fun. They're very utilitarian.
Very, but he kind of like bundles it up. I don't have much use for that, but I do have your one for comprehend languages. Slides the 2 scrolls over to you, and I do have this other one, which is again either abyssal or infernal. I'm
Okay.
not
Do
quite
you
sure.
At the
happen?
at
Do
the
you
mention
happen?
of infernal, Tlar will look up and kind of look over towards them. I'd like to see if you know. I have infernal. I can
Oh,
read that.
you understand the infernal language? Well, of course, please come over,
She
take a look.
she wanders over and looks it over.
It's not you understand.
Hmm?
It's not. It's something you can't understand. It looks. You can understand some of the characters and like figures that are in place, but it seems that they're all kind of jumbled up, almost as if like you had dyslexia, as an like to if it makes sense. Like a lot of the letters are misplaced. The words don't really make sense.
Hmm. Um, I'm not sure. This is it reads almost like infernal, but at the same time, it's like somebody mixed it up, or maybe it's a different dialect. I'm not sure.
Well, I
Well,
mean, if I get the comprehend languages scroll, I mean, I'd be able to read it anyway
Hmm.
after some studying. So
and it is quite possible that it isn't actually. If you speak infernal, this may be written in abyssal. Infernal and abyssal do use the same script, so when writing in the language, they do use the same characterization, and like they do use the same characterization for their wording, but it doesn't necessarily translate the exact same.
Right.
So, if you know infernal, then this must be an abyssal. Process of elimination. Well done.
Glad I could assist. She's gonna return to kind of
Mhm.
looking around, checking out all the different items.
Okay. And I have a mild shenanigan plan, so DM, we discussed this.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to cast a message towards Crixum.
Yeah.
And one more thing.
You don't need to say it if you don't want to, because I know what you're planning on doing.
Okay.
You like if Victorious and Solar, if you guys are watching, you see like Crixum just kind of like look kind of interested for a moment. He's taken aback a little bit. Just nods his head a few times, and then leans over, and then stands back up again. And that's it. That's about all you see. Well, is there anything else that I can get for you?
I mean, I think that'll be it. If that's possible at all, I can go ahead and get my total, and I
Yes,
guess
of course.
move onward.
For the comprehend languages, it's got a common spell scroll. And the abyssal spell scroll. I don't have much use for it since I don't know what it is. I can't really price it. The two spell books. Your request, and for the sake of it, I'll throw in the conjure elemental spell scroll as well. I personally don't have any use of it. No one seems to want to summon an elemental to their aid. It's quite
They're
a.
actually, well, it's a lot of collateral damage, but they are pretty handy.
I can imagine so. But if you take, I'll throw this in, include it in the price, and if you consider it, if you use it in advance, it would save you a spell slot or multiple spell slots if you know that you're about to get into a bit of a fight, if you know what I mean.
Of course.
And then with all of that, you'll be 1,650 gold pieces.
And done.
You pass it all over. You like bundles it all together. It doesn't go through and count it all. You've interacted with him before. He seems to trust you, somewhat trust you. Just pops it all down into a little lockbox, and it is a pleasure doing business with you again, of course. Just make sure that your other companion doesn't show his face around here again, or I will incinerate him.
I mean, I'd rather you not make threats against my companions.
Well, I don't make threats against your companions. I make threats against thieves.
I mean, he's not necessarily a good one.
Good or bad, he's still a thief. Anyway, what of you two? Do you have any business to attend to?
Nonchalantly turn around. I assume talking about Neftari. I'm going to say to Coralina. I'll approach my colleague here. Has told me you seem to be a wise and educated man of the arcane, and I'm going to pull the cloak off my back. Just sort of hold it in front of me. This is a cloak made of the hide of a displacer beast.
It is. I recognize that from a mile away.
So saved my life many times in battle. However, the enchantment or the effect of the displacer beast seems to have been disrupted, taken from the cloak.
Taken.
I wondered, is there any way to restore its qualities?
Well, typically speaking, when an enchantment is put in place onto an item, such as your displacement cloak or a weapon or a bag of holding, the enchantment is only ever disrupted if the item itself is damaged. So, have you been in a fight recently where you have almost received an attack, but the weapon has instead clipped your cloak?
I'm sure there have been occasions.
Kind of looks over the cloak. It doesn't seem to be too much damage to it. Give me one moment. He kind of leans over and opens up a drawer, pulls out what looks to be a almost pristine spherical pearl, holds it in his hand, and places his other hand onto the cloak, and you watch as his eyes glow gold for just a few moments. Interesting. You said this was a cloak of displacement?
It once was, yes.
Well, there is no residual enchantment there whatsoever. It's almost as if you've just taken the hide of a displacer beast and then that's it. Are you sure this was a cloak of displacement?
Yeah, I'm quite sure. But the enchantment is gone, then my question is answered.
Well, unless there's anything else I can do for it,
Can
there's
an
not.
enchantment such as this be restored?
It's a interesting request to make. I've never really restored an enchantment that has been lost. I could certainly try to, but there's no guarantee that the enchantment will take hold. If the cloak itself is damaged to the point where the enchantment has broken, and the new enchantments may just fail automatically.
I think that's all I need to know. I wondered whether the natural qualities of the displacer beast's hide would cause the enchantment to naturally recover. Seems not. Thank you for your advice.
Of course. Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, thank you. Unless my colleagues have any further business, so we'll thank you for your time.
And what of you, Dragonborn? Wing.
Clara kind of just chuckles briefly, but I'm a bit of a fan of old lore, and I was curious if you had any reference materials or objects relating to, if you've heard of the Tier of Saloon?
Tear of Saloon.
Hmm.
Why do you ask? It is not often that a cleric ever comes by this way looking for the tear.
As I said, I am a fan of old lore. I enjoy reading into things like that.
He kind of like just kind of slowly kind of scratches his chin and like works his fingers like through the tuft of hair that he has on his chin. No, no, that's not it. You're seeking the tear, or at least seeking the staff, aren't you?
I wish I could, but I have no idea where to look.
No one ever does. From what I've heard of and done what minimal research into the tier that I've conducted myself. The keys, the two keys that there are, left and right, they are divided and scattered across the prime material. So they could be here in Taldore, they could be across in Wildmount, down in the Cry, they could be in the other side of the planet across in Elroth. But nobody knows where they truly are. The
That was
tier,
something.
on the other hand, what I do know of is that apparently the tier is only provided to Ceylon's chosen cleric. So, if you're in the hunt for the staff, May I see it?
I'm sorry.
If you're on the hunt for the stuff, if you're looking for the information, you have the tier, don't you?
Why would I have it? As I said, I'm only looking for material to read.
But you have that glint in your eyes, dragon. The same glint of people past who have come seeking information and claimed that they have the tier. But you have a look of conviction. This isn't more of just looking for information. You truly want to find these pieces. You have the tier. Kind of chuckles and just looks down to the floor for a few moments before glancing up to you. Be careful with whom you ask for that information. I personally do not know anything more of the keys, just that they are scattered far and wide. Well, that's what they say anyway. For all you know, they could be both like just buried in the dirt somewhere together, and all you need to do is find out where that is. I don't know. But if you inform people that you're looking for that information, if they can read you as well as I have, they may seek to take advantage of that fact. May try and use you. Just be careful going forward, yes?
She chuckles softly and shakes her head, walks over to the other side of the shop.
Well, if there is no more business to be conducted, I will bid you all a good day. I am going to have to close up in the next 15 minutes, so unless you have anything that has caught your eye that you wish to purchase, I will respectfully ask for you to vacate the premises.
No, I'm pretty happy.
And I'm
So-
glad you are.
We'll leave you in
Victorless?
peace then, good man.
Okay. And Talar, you want to do anything else while you're in here?
No, she's gonna leave with them.
Okay. I would like the three of you to go ahead and roll me perception checks.
Oh, I was gonna say as I'm leaving, I'm gonna throw back up to SAS self. I'll blow another spell slot for it.
Yeah, go for it.
As we're walking out the door, I'd like Talar to lean over to Victoralis and briefly mention that we should keep an eye out for like anyone that has to do with carts with the black tarp, and she's going to make a quick mention of her notice earlier.
Okay. And with the 25 and the 18, Talar and Carolina, as you guys are leaving, almost as if it's a sixth sense, you turn back to look at Crixum, and you both see what looks to be a flash of light come from the lip of your backpack, Talar. Not from within it, just from the very edge. And you see Crixum just kind of look to you, cross his arms, and just a very large smile grows on his face and nods to you, Talar, as you're walking out.
She's going to give him kind of the same look that she gave the people prior. Just that kind of slitted look to her eyes.
A suspicious
So-
look.
Right.
Like you're suspecting him of something. He just looking at you, he just kind of shakes his head, closes his eyes for a few moments, still smiling, and then looks back to you before he turns around and heads back into the back of his shop.
When he heads back, I'd like her to quietly or subtly check her bag, make sure certain
Mhm.
things are still there.
Yeah, everything's still there as you open your backpack and take a look.
Okay.
These black tarped carts, are they anything to do with that strange conversation?
No, two separate events, I think. But as I mentioned when we were coming in, I was watching out the back just for anything, and two individuals pointed towards me or our cart, and they were standing next to a cart with a black tarp. And I haven't seen very many black tarps. I would recommend caution while we're
Yeah,
here.
we've already got our dear wizard here with the target painted on her back. We don't need another.
Him. I'm disguised.
Oh, your disguise is back on now.
Yeah,
I
I put it back on when I left the shop.
Yeah, as you say that, like an individual dressed in leather armor with two short swords sheathed at their hip just kind of glances to you, Victorlas, as they're walking by, like, what the fuck? Who looks down to the slightly taller but disguised self of Coralina, and then just shakes their head as they walk away.
Locals around here are nosy, aren't they?
Well, I mean, when you say that someone's got a target painted on them, that kind of draws attention to you. When you say things like that out loud.
Well, I'm not walking down the street going, "Hey, everybody!"
Hey, this is Carlina. See that you drive house from you. She's got a bounty on her head. Someone come and take it.
Trying to be subtle about the whole situation. Still,
All right,
let's
so
be careful.
with that, we're going to jump over to Nithtari and Temple.
So we're heading back to the inn?
Yeah, we better go meet up with those guys and see if Giraffe
Okay.
friend is still around.
Okay, also one last thing, Vic, I mentioned this to Neftari in the cart, but since I bought 2 extra spell books, he's gonna keep one, you're gonna keep the other one, so in case I, unfortunately, end up losing my spell book.
Right. No pressure then.
Well, I mean, you don't go charging into combat, so I think it's a sound decision.
Well, there's room in here. I'll open up the top of the quiver that's not got the arrows in.
Mm-hmm.
Should be
One of
safe in
the
there.
smaller pouches.
Okay, well that seems fair enough. I'll copy spells into those, and then, I'll get it to you, okay?
Sure, whenever you need.
Okay, with that, we're going to move over to Nithtari and Temple. So as you guys have just watched Talar, Corleone, and Victorlas disembark and make their way deep into the guts of WestRuun, you guys essentially backtrack, like head around a block of buildings before going back to the stable where you'd spoken to the gnomish individual who had provided you the horses. There, as you approach, disembark, and there's a couple of horses that are hitched up outside already, and inside you can hear the sounds of crashing and rattling from within.
Okay, I put the horses up and I just listen to see, make sure there's not a fight going on in there.
Go ahead and roll me an investigation check. 6. Yeah. From what you can tell, DC isn't really that high. From what you can tell, You can hear like strain, like the noise of someone being like straining and grunting, but doesn't. It only seems to be from one individual. It sounds like they've just been. Maybe they're looking for something and just tearing the place apart trying to find it.
Sounds like they got a job on. For Temple.
What are you looking for? What's happening?
We need to return these horses.
I wouldn't imagine there to be difficulty doing that.
Well, if you come with me, you can tell them how I didn't interfere with the horses or anything.
But you did what to the horses?
Didn't touch them, but you know, it doesn't matter. I open the door and
As you open the door, it's an interesting scene to say the least.
Oh no.
There are a lot of like overturned shelves and chairs and tables, and the gnomish individual whose name you didn't actually get, his at the back, kind of like you can see just his legs sticking out from underneath a bed. It kind of like wildly flying about the place as he seems to be kind of like rummaging around under the bed trying to find something.
hey, mister,
My goodness,
you all right?
Neftari. Go ahead.
Sorry, say that again, Temple.
I said go ahead because I started talking at the same time.
Okay, cool. As you call out, yes, everything's fine. I can't seem to find my ledger. God. Mm.
Do you want a hand? If you tell us what it looks like.
Can I immediately see a lead?
You cannot. No. But you hear the gnome call out. Yes. If you want, it's just a small black book. It's just got all my contacts in it. That's all. But if you do find a black cover, don't open it. Just pass it back to me. It's got some very questionable things inside of it. He kind of like pushes out from under the bed and looks up to you two. Oh, it's you two.
I understand completely. We too have a friend that has books with questionable
As you say that, a smirk kind of grows on the gnome's face. But he immediately gives Neftari the shifty-eyed look. He's like, you brought my horses back with no complications now, right?
Two of them are pregnant.
That's a little difficult, Temple, because they're male horses.
I never said I was good at animal handling.
Your horses are fine. They're not pregnant. They're not. Go and ask them if you want. They're
I don't
super-
speak horse. That was good. But I'll believe you for now.
For it. They're not traumatized or anything. Don't worry.
I would sincerely hope not. I will believe you for now. But yeah, please help me find my ledger. It's just it was around here somewhere. I dealt with the one of the scaly men. He was a bit abrupt, but I helped him out, and then he disappeared, and then my ledger disappeared as well. It's kind of a coincidence.
So looking for it's a waste of time. We're best off just finding the scaly man. What do you mean by scaly man?
Well, he was silver. He was a dragonborn, scaly man. It was a bit racist of me to say that, I will admit, but I get insulted for my size. But I'm not saying that he was a thief. When I last saw him, he didn't have my ledger on him. But it has promptly vanished.
Did he come here to hire a horse or something?
No, he was actually looking for information on where some horses were going.
Wouldn't be those horses we just hired, would it?
No.
Really?
You can roll me an insight check if you want.
May I?
Sorry, say that again, Evelyn.
May I also?
You may roll an insight check as well. On the 9, Temple, you believe that you're not being tracked, that the gnome is telling the truth, that it wasn't the 2 horses that you had hired. Sorry, yeah, you know he's lying to you. It was the 2 horses that were being asked about were the 2 that you had hired to get you out to the farms.
Right. So, when you say questionable content, I have no idea what you could actually mean. And Temple, you said we've got a friend with similar stuff. What? Look, I'll level with you. I'm not into book. Okay. I can read, but if it,
Well,
menus
sorry.
and-
Not all books have pictures, but those books paint a picture. And usually, when someone talks about books with suspicious content, the pictures painted are of undressed person.
Well, that would be smut, and no, the images depicted in my ledger are not of smut. They are actually, in fact, pictures, but just not pictures that...
Insight.
Go ahead and roll insight. 7. I mean, it could be any kind of picture. These could be pictures of a beautiful sunset, for all you can tell.
I mean, in books, sort of stuff's in books. What?
Well, there are pictures that weren't necessarily included with the look. It doesn't matter. I just really need to find it in case it gets out. Okay. As the gnomish individual is looking around, you just see his eyes like kind of grow and light up as he then darts into the corner, trips over his like the leg of his chair and falls flat on his face, crawls forward a few inches before he grabs what looks to be a black leather bound book, pulls it to his chest, like, oh, thank the gods. It's okay. I found it. I don't need your assistance anymore, so please leave as I get my place tidied up, please, and thank you.
Can I just have a quick peek at the
Nope,
book?
absolutely not.
Yeah,
You can leave.
What's in the book? What's in the book?
Very private and personal things that you are not getting to see. Now leave before I call the authorities.
Come on, this is between us, guys. Let
Get
us have a.
out of my house, please.
Don't you want us to pay you for the horses?
I mean, yes, but you're not getting to look at my book. He kind of like shuffles around and puts the book into his pocket. Had them yesterday. I brought them out. It'll be 2 gold. 2 gold.
How about 3 gold and just a quick
No,
peek?
absolutely not. 5 gold for the horses.
Excuse me, my friend here. He's not very right in the head, and every day he has a single request, and if that request is fulfilled, he will be bright and happy and dream merrily for the rest of the day. If you could just please let him see what's in the book,
10
or maybe
gold
let
for
me
the
vet it
horses.
first.
The more you ask, the more expensive it's going to get. 10 gold for the horses.
Is there a bookshop in town?
100 gold for the horses.
Look, I mean, the horses aren't worth 100 gold. What? You said 2. I pull out
100
2
gold for the horses.
I pull out 2 gold. I hand him the 2 gold.
2 gold for the horses, and we leave immediately and stop asking about your wonderful.
If you leave without paying me my other 98 gold pieces, I will call the authorities.
This is extortion, sir.
Yeah,
So
it wasn't extortion. You were trying to bribe me to look at my personal effects, which I am not doing.
We
I
were
have
asking
increased-
about your
I have
curious book.
increased-
You
I
have
have
denied,
increased
and you
my charges based on your actions, which I am legally allowed to do.
This is unethical extortion, sir. I'm gonna point right at the little guy. Point right at him.
Yeah, he is completely unfazed. If
Really?
you don't pay, I will call the authorities and have you arrested.
Thing in that book is legal, then, is it?
It's legal. It's just very private and personal.
I suspect it's illegal. If you call the authorities, I'm going to tell them that you've got a book of something illegal.
Well, you can tell them that, and the authorities, they have every legal they will have every legal reason to look through my ledger, and I will be able to explain what is within it. But you won't get to see it. And my point still stands that if you don't pay me my 98 gold pieces, you will be charged and arrested, because I will call the authorities.
This guy not intimidated at all by the giant warford.
Surprisingly, no. He's a businessman.
Neftari, just pay the pervert his money. We'll go.
Can't I hit him? And we.
Neftari, come
Wait,
on.
hold on. What was that, Neftari?
Can't I just hit him?
You'd rather just hit him. Are you going to hit him?
Not
Oh,
going to.
no.
I said to Temple, can't I just hit him?
Okay. Hit me, and I will definitely call the authorities, and you will not be arrested for the attempt at dodging a contracted fee, but for assault with the intent of murder, and you will definitely go to jail for the rest of your days.
Neftari, I'd really rather not spend all day giving this pervert what he wants with his
Sticks and stones,
clear
metal man,
extortion.
sticks and stones.
Just give the tiny man his 100 gold.
But I could hit him really, really, really hard. So hard that he wouldn't be able to go to the authorities.
No, there'll be. You know I'm not gonna let you do that, Neftari. And I know you're just trying to scare the little fella, but clearly this guy knows his shit. So if you just give him his gold and we'll
I know my
leave,
shit
that's
so
fine.
much that I've just cast message to the nearest guard.
Okay, here's the 48 gold.
Where's the other 50?
No, I think 48 is fine.
Oh no, it's 100. You give me my 100 gold pieces. The guards are on their way right now. I can promise you that.
Can I insight check on that? Because this seems excessive.
You can roll an insight check. I don't know why you didn't ask me that too, like when he said he did that. 23, yeah, no, he didn't, there was no verbal, there was no somatic, and there was no material components for message used. Actually, let me quickly double check something here.
If you're asking for messages, a verbal,
verbal
somatic,
component.
yeah,
And
and
material, yeah.
yep.
So yeah, as far as you're aware, he didn't actually cast the spell.
But good sir, how did you cast the message spell without doing, well, anything?
I'm an amazing
I'm starting to think
spellcaster.
this is a
I'm so
shakedown,
good that
sir.
I can only
This
cast
is a
my spell.
shakedown. I will not have this shakedown. Neftari, give me 10 gold.
Okay.
I'm going to put the 10 gold on the counter, and me and Neftari are going to leave because this is clear extortion, and I've paid you there 5 times what it's worth. Goodbye. We shall storm out. I'm calling this guy's bluff.
As you walk out, well, you're contracted to pay me 100 gold. I am going to have the authorities come down on you. Just you wait.
We keep walking.
Go ahead and roll me a perception check.
100 gold, goodness me.
12. Glancing over, you do see the gnome call over a guard, and a guard does seem to walk over and start speaking to him. He points in your general direction. Guard looks over to you, and at that point you walk out of line of sight. Where are you guys heading to?
We're going shopping, aren't we, Neftari?
Let's see if we can find a bookshop.
A bookshop it is.
All right, cool. So both of you go ahead and roll me an investigation check as you begin hunting down a bookshop.
I'm just looking generally around for signs that imply books. Usually, shops like to have book pun name.
Or you're looking around for a
or-
bunch of nerds.
Yep.
A bookshop or an armorer, perhaps. We could do something with these skins. Oh God, did I leave the skins on the back of the cart?
You did not. I would have assumed that you would have packed them up into your pack and carried them. There was more plate than skins. Okay. As you're walking around, Temple, you actually notice what looks to be a bookstore of sorts. It is called the Dog Ear. And as you look upon the sign, it's actually got a picture of a open book, and in the very corner of one of the pages, it's been folded in on itself. Which is something you never do to a real book. Use a fucking bookmark.
You ever got your wizard cry?
If you ever don't do something like this and use a bookmark, if you ever fold the corners of your pages in, you're less than human. You don't do that. Ever.
Like people who put the cereal in after the milk.
Yes, exactly.
You only do that if you're going for a second bowl.
No,
Or
you
people
don't.
have the toilet roll against the wall instead of over the top of the roll.
Yeah, no, that's very true as well. Or no, even worse for a cereal thing. People that eat their cereal with water.
What?
Yes, I know people that eat their cereal with water. Anyway, so you find the dog ear as you head over, and glancing through the windows, it's getting a little later than you'd like. There's still a like lit like candle light within the shop, so you can assume it's still open, but who knows for how long.
So I really had no idea about these books. I thought they were all about rocks and things.
Hold on. We were out here to get weapons, maybe a present, and the moment I tell you that books can contain any manner of... In the shop we go. Nevtari, you're about to discover a wonderful way.
As you enter the shop, it's quite a long shop, very thin, but there's about 5 rows of bookcases, all with a rainbow of colors of covers on different books, from just like paper bound, leather bound. You can't read all of the titles, and it would probably take you months to like go through every single one of them. There are
Excuse me, sir. Can you direct me to the porn?
That's exactly what I'm about to do.
as you walk in,
To the bookkeeper.
as you walk in, a very old human lady kind of turns like out
Oh
from
no.
one of the aisles and walks up to you. Like, yes, dear. What can I do for you?
Hello. This is my friend Neftari. He doesn't read very much. And he's just learned that there are books with pictures in. Books with pictures in that might interesting him. I was hoping you could show us where these kinds of books are.
Well, of course. What kind of pictures are you looking for?
Neftari?
Pictures of dicks.
But books on the anatomy of a human or humanoid creature, if you will. Neftari, you see, has a keen interest in biology.
She kind of looks up to you with the most deadpan look ever. Is this for study or pleasure?
Yeah.
Neftari?
I don't know. I don't know what sort of books really.
Are you looking to get off on what you read?
You can do that? Sure.
Fifth aisle, all the way down at the back.
Right past the beaded curtain.
No. And again, as she says this, she has not but the most deadpan stare, like looking at her temple. She's probably had this asked of her millions of times.
Well, Neftari, this is your journey of discovery. I'm going to leave you to walk over there by yourself, and I'm just going to watch from afar. And keep your hands out of your trousers.
Are these the sort of books that Corlena's reading?
I would assume so. She had an embarrassed look about her when we mentioned the books.
I had no idea.
Why don't you maybe get her one as a present? If she likes this kind of book, maybe you can choose one to your taste, and maybe she'll like it too. I quite frankly don't understand the whole concept of reproduction, but anyway, go ahead. I'll be looking over at these books. Just whatever books I'm stood next to, DM. I'm just gonna.
Okay.
Neftari will rifle through a lot of books until he finds some he likes.
List out some titles, DM, and then we'll stop them on that we like.
Is there a smutty book generator online?
I mean, there probably is. Smutty book name generator. Let's take a look here.
Just see if it buys, half a dozen or whatever.
Well, I need. Oh, hold on. What was that there? I need some smutty romance book titles for my bookstores, which is one of the first things that pops up in the r/D&D. And then
God bless you, community.
The top link is my secret to fanfiction.wordpress.com. So I'm
DM, you're terrible at this.
I'm very, very bad at this. There we go. There's actually romance novel title generator.
Ugh. Not creative at all.
I have no idea what they would even call romance novels.
The difference between me and you, Corlina, is the fact that I don't go out of my way to like
You gotta
invent
realize,
these things.
I mean, it's for shenanigans, right?
I know it is.
Nice.
That doesn't want to work. Okay.
I've got 3 for you in my notes.
Yeah, I know.
DM, just
I'm looking
improv
at
them. Improv them.
I'm not going to improv them because I'm really not wanting to improv smut. Yeah, no. So you've got 3 titles that immediately catch your eye, Neftari. One is aptly and very coincidentally called "I Want to Gnome What Love Is." There's one that is called "Taming the Wilds," and there's a third one that is called "My Warden, My Lover." Jesus fucking Christ.
And
Okay,
also
okay.
remember, Neftari, when shopping, you don't need to pick just one item. You can pick a whole row of items and just
Fucking hate
take them
you.
out with you in a sack and read them later.
I'll take these 3.
I hope these are hand drawn.
Yeah, are they picture books or what?
Will the DM be rolling for performance checks for the people that drew
As-
these books 40
As
years ago?
as you open them up, they are not picture books. They are like there's no pictures whatsoever. It is all pure literature.
Just read the blurb, Neftari.
Motherfucker, this ain't Barnes & Noble. They ain't got blurbs on the back.
I'll take these 3, I guess.
Yeah.
Wait.
The
They grow up so fast.
The human woman, the human lady walks up to you. Of course. And will be 3 silver pieces, please.
Okay. So, Temple, are you sure these what Carolina reads?
I'm not entirely sure, to be fair. I didn't read any of the books. That's just the impression I was getting, that it was this kind of book.
I mean, I could be making the second horrible, a second horrible mistake today.
Maybe you should read the books before giving them her to make sure that the right kind of material for an innocent young princess person.
Look at the bookkeeper. Do you think
Actually,
this is
yes. Ask the
appropriate?
bookkeeper what she would recommend.
Do you think this is appropriate for a young lady?
Oh, well, I heard you saying that she has read something like this before. Is that correct?
Think so, I don't know.
And well, that was more to you, Temple.
I think so.
Well, if she's read these kind of books in the past, I don't see why not.
Which one would you recommend, based on your own experience with these books?
She kind of looks at them all, points at the middle book. It's "I Want to Know What Love Is." That one's a personal favorite of mine. It's a
Now, page 157. Oh, boy.
Fuck off, you.
boy.
As she's like, I'm going bright red here, but again, she is still like complete deadpan. And she kind of like looks at it. It's about a gnomish bard who falls madly in love with a gnomish cleric. There's a bit of conflict in their relationship before they finally give in to each other, and it is well, it's quite romantic actually. If you want a recommendation, I would highly suggest that one.
take it.
Of course. 3 silver for the 3 of them. You pass it over?
Yep.
Yep, cool. And you now have 3 books of smut in your possession. Sake.
I can't believe it's taken till now this campaign for enough time to have smut.
It's been over a year. I'm surprised you actually made it this far.
Well, that's Neftari. He doesn't read. It's, why would he want to read a book? Books are full of rocks and things.
All right, so you've got your smut. You've paid for the horses, or at least you think you have. What are you guys doing now? Heading back to the inn, or?
Yeah, we'll head back to the inn. We'll look for an armor or something tomorrow.
Sure.
Imagine
On
I'm
another
shut right
level.
now.
As you guys
Now that
head
Neftari's
back,
got his fill.
as you guys head back, and you manage to wind your way through the streets and get to the Broken Candle. As you're about to enter the door, you actually catch sight of Talar, what you recognize as the disguised Coralina and Victorious. They're about 2 minutes behind you. So you all manage to reconvene at the Broken Candle and make your way inside. As you open the door, the atmosphere inside is quite lively. There are a lot of what look to be adventurers that have come into the tavern of place order for food and drinks and seem to be sharing tales of their own contracts that they've managed to complete. Alex is there at the bar. She looks quite exasperated. She's she's moving around quite a lot. She has her small air elementals that are serving here and there, but they're the place is quite packed. She seems to be doing a lot of this by herself.
It's packed. We can't find a quiet corner.
Glancing around, probably not. It's so loud that if you're having a conversation amongst yourselves, there's a chance. Well, you'll probably be overheard. It's that loud you won't be able to whisper to each other. But whether or not people take notice, that's the question.
Can I glance over to the corner where Dravroth normally sits and see if he's there?
He is. He is sat there, and he's actually surrounded by what looks to be 3 human individuals.
Okay.
DM, may I go approach the bar?
Yeah, you may do so.
Okay, I would like to ask the barkeep if I could have a pitcher of ale and 2 glasses.
Yeah. Alex kind of yeah, shit, where am I? Kind of leans over, picks up 2 tankards, fills them both with ale and slides them to you. Just do me a favor and keep track of how many drinks you have during the night and how much food you eat. I don't care whether you sell me short or not. I'm just.
No,
There's
that's
so many
okay.
people.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm just gonna take this upstairs.
Yeah. You've got a room?
Okay, so how are you ruling this, DM? Can I partially drop it and bring it back
No.
up?
No.
No.
If you drop this guy
okay.
sells it, all drops.
Okay, I'd like to cast a message. I'm a little bit disguised at the moment, but I'm the Air Genasi wizard from earlier.
And she kind of stops for a moment and then looks up to you. Like, right, okay. Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay.
I'll just add it to your bill for your stay
fine.
for tomorrow. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, and I'll disappear upstairs.
Okay. Well, with the rest of you, what are you all doing?
Victoralis will be ordering the most complicated drink he can improv, right?
An old fashioned.
I'll patiently wait at the bar until she's got a moment of breathing space.
Mm-hmm. It takes a few minutes. There are a lot of people that come up and come back down, and one after the other looking for refills of the drinks. But a few minutes after, like eventually everyone has gotten their order. It's just you, like currently just you at the bar. But there is a lull in service at the moment, so she's just kind of like she kind of like kneels over, her hands on the bar, just kind of head ducked down, just taking several deep breaths, trying to take whatever moment she can to herself to steady herself mentally for the next onslaught of patrons.
No rush, but when you have a moment, I'll take an ale. Anyone else? Talar? Neftari?
Just some water would be fine.
I think Neftari would head up after calling her.
Okay.
Oh,
And
Did I
Temple.
have time? Did I have time to do my thing?
Go ahead and roll me a sleight of hand check. Yeah, cutting it close, but yeah, you've got enough time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, after I finish pouring my ale, over on the desk, reach in the bag of holding, pull out my now 3 spell books, because I'll have work to do later tonight. But, I guess I will sit down and wait.
Okay, cool. We will start with Victorious and the others. Templar, where are you going, by the way?
I'll stay with Victoralis.
Okay, cool. So, Temple, Talar, and Victorious, you guys are still at the bar. Alex kind of like takes a deep breath and says, "Right, 1 ale, 1 water, sure." Like lifts up 2 tankards, pours an ale, and then pours a fresh water and slides them over to you. Alright, well.
If I could get a war dropper for my other friend here.
What?
Oh, 2 measures of your strongest whiskey. 1 measure of red wine if you have it.
Yeah.
2 measures of ale.
Yeah.
A sprig of mint.
Yeah.
A sprinkle of salt.
Yeah.
And just a small fruit garnish on the side, if you would.
Fruit garnish. Do you prefer lemon or lime?
Lime would be excellent.
Lime. All right. Cool. Right. And he starts like pouring away into like a tankard before. Oh, fuck no. Tosses it aside. Like actually discards all of the alcohol onto the floor and then restarts. Like, hey,
this is chaotic evil at its finest.
Not chaotic evil, but it's chaotic nonetheless.
It is. If you've been a barman before.
No.
Chaotic dickhead, more
chaotic,
like.
Yeah, chaotic, but not evil. But like finally, after a couple of minutes, she's like slots down a little garnish of lime. There, that's a very unique concoction you've got there.
Yeah, apparently. So Temple here tells me it's a very, very ancient recipe. Not heard of it myself until today.
Is that so? Well, oh fuck it. She pulls up what looks to be like a very small shot glass, carefully pours some of the concoction into the shot glass. Well, cheers, and downs it herself. And she just like opens her eyes like, oh, okay, that'll keep me going. Anything else you guys are having?
No, that'll be fine.
No ale, no food, no drink, no more drinks, no food. You need another room. How's your fight? I know you went for a contract. Did that go well? Did you manage to help Calvin? He seemed to be having a bit of a trouble when you went up there, and Catelyn seemed a bit scared. I didn't know
Did
about
this drink have meth in it?
very strong mint.
I know they've got a new farmhand, very bovine creature, mentor. Seems interesting, but is that one all okay? Yeah. You managed to deal with that, no problem. You got paid handsomely. I hope you got paid handsomely. That way, I get paid handsomely. I mean, what? I didn't say that.
So just to answer your questions, yes, a little bit later, not for now. Yes, all fine. We did. Yes, very interesting fellow. Yes, all good.
Oh, good. Well, good. I'm glad. If you have any more jobs you wish to take, boards over there, feel free. I'm gonna go puke. Turns around, darts into the bag, and all you hear is like violent retching in the bag.
Talara is sitting here with the surprised, confused, and shocked look, looking between her and back to Victor Alice, and back to her, back and forth this whole time, just like, what in the what?
Well, what's good for the goose, as they say. I'm going to take some of this concoction, and I'm going to have a good old swig on it myself.
And go ahead and roll me a con save at disadvantage. It feels amazing as it goes down. It doesn't burn. The mint gives it a very fresh feeling as it goes down your throat. And once you like place the tankard down on the bar and look around, everything seems to be going in slow motion.
Well, that's interesting.
Talar and Temple. Well, do you say that out loud? Actually,
yeah.
Talar and Temple. You hear Victorla say that, but at like 10 times the tempo. Oh, that's really interesting. Just anything that you say from this point going forward, Victorlas, you can say it normally if you'd like to, but his tempo of saying it is just rapid for anyone else.
Victoralis, we should sing. I feel like we should sing. I've never sung.
Go ahead and roll persuasion check at advantage.
You know, I was considering a small taste, but I don't think I'm going to.
Victorlas, go ahead and roll me an insight check at disadvantage. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, let's do singing. Like to sing songs? What songs do you know?
Oh no.
Victorlas, go ahead and roll me another Constitution saving throw at disadvantage, please. That was another natural 20 there. Let me go and add that to the counter. Yeah, no, it's everything's still going. If anything, everything seems to be going a lot slower.
So as far as I'm concerned, I'm going, yeah, Temple, let's sing a song.
Yeah.
Do you know any good
let's
songs?
sing a song. Do you know any? Yeah, you're speaking at a normal pace to you, but everyone else is just, yeah, Temple, let's go sing a song. What songs do you know? Do you know any good songs? What's going on? Like, yeah, let's go sing a song. And you're like, you're super rapid with what you're saying. So, Temple, do you know any songs?
Do I know any songs, DM?
I mean, you have access to YouTube, don't you?
Sure.
I mean, go and
I'm a little teapot.
Go and YouTube a song of your choice, and then ping me a link to it, and then that's the song.
When the snowman brings the snow.
No, absolutely not. No Christmas songs. No Christmas songs. If you post me a Christmas song, I'm going to fucking kill you.
Okay.
Your soul will instantly depart your body, and you will just be ejected from this campaign so fucking swiftly.
Dovahkiin. No,
you're actually going to do the Skyrim theme.
This is me preemptively failing a performance check.
So, what song are you actually going to be?
The Dragonborn comes.
The Dragonborn
Because that's
comes.
kind of that works. That works.
Victorious. Okay. Temple, you first initially roll me a performance check at disadvantage.
Disadvantage just because I don't have lips. This is racist.
It's well, actually, yes, it is
You didn't
very
take levels
racist,
in Bard, good
but
sir.
yeah, you are not a bard. You are quite monotone, and singing is not something that you do. So performance check at disadvantage, please. 3. Yeah, you do not sell it at all. However, because it is the Dragonborn Rises and it is sung in Draconic, Victorious, also considering you're absolutely fucked at the moment, go ahead and roll me a performance check at advantage. Because you know you can do
I can give you the
anything when you're
lyrics
drunk.
if you like.
I'm proficient in performance, so
Well, good. 16. You slur a lot of the pronunciations for some of the words that are like for all the words in Draconics. You slur some of them. Go ahead and roll me a con save. You do you do slur some of your words as you're going. You start swaying quite a bit. Everything's starting to speed up slightly. Everything, like, you can see people, like, everyone's like now talking, well, not at normal pace, but it's still like maybe like before it was maybe going at like quarter speed. Now it's kind of gone up to like half speed.
has our disruptive singing managed to clear any space at a table that we can sit down at?
No, not quite. If anything, you've got a lot of people that are looking over to you and cheering at you as you're singing along.
Excellent. Okay, good.
Flor's face palming at this whole thing.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Beset on all sides by idiots.
But Talar does know the words, right?
I mean, technically, well,
No, she
no.
does.
Well, yeah, now you do. Now you know the lyrics. Well, you know the lyrics, Dana. But Talar, not so much. You know it's in Draconic, and you can kind of like listen along to it. But yeah,
Is it like a Coldplay song, and you can kind of guess what the end of the line is going to be next anyway?
kind of, yeah. But yeah, about 5-10 minutes after you're like of singing, you just repeat the song over and over again because you know you're absolutely shit faced. Go ahead and roll me another con save. 17. Go ahead and roll me another con save. Unnatural 20. Cool. As you finish up the song, everything's just suddenly rapidly speeds up. Like it was at about half speed, and then as if someone just like flicked the switch, everything's back to normal pace, and you just feel this bubbling sensation come up your throat about as if you're about to spew your guts out. But you manage to just take a deep breath, swallow, hold it down, and you do not empty the contents of your stomach all over the floor.
Excellent. Wash it down with some ale to cleanse my palate.
Yeah, just normal ale though, yeah.
Yeah, just the normal. Temple, do you remember what I put in that thing? Because I think it will be worthy of note for later use.
Do I remember?
It was 2 parts ale, 2 parts red wine, 2 parts whiskey, a sprig of mint, and a garnish of fruit. I'm pretty sure I
We'll
missed
remember that.
something, but
No, I think it was two of the strongest whiskies, 1 measure of red wine, 2
ale,
ales,
sprig of mint, and then
sprig of mint, a sprinkle of salt, and a fruit
sprinkle of salt.
garnish.
That's the one, and a fruit garnish. Yeah, surprised you
There you
remembered all that actually.
That's the war dropper.
The war dropper. Cool, man. Actually taking notes of that on my phone while I'm here. uh, yeah, right. After a short period of time, once everything seems to come back to, and you just start to finish everything off with some ale, people do start to vacate their seats and return to their bedrooms. But before we continue on to you going to interrogate Dravroth, we're going to switch over to Coralina and Neftari. So, Coralina, you have set about with your business as you're about ready to start copying your spells over to your spell
Actually-
books.
I was gonna save that for later. I sat down and I waited.
Okay, just
On
sat
the
down and
couch.
waited. All right.
Yep.
5 minutes later, which is a little quicker than you expected. There's a knock at the door.
Yes.
It's me. Can I come in? Big book.
Books. Read. Mage hand open the door.
Yeah. The door opens for you, Neftari, and as you glance in, Coralina is actually just sat on the sofa.
My ale is in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get your books too?
Yeah, they're over on the desk.
Yeah. So when we return the horses, the stable master, he had a book, and he really didn't want to, which made me really want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And that temple said it probably had questionable content in it. I didn't know they had books with questionable content, but he said you were into that sort of stuff.
There's dead silence for a minute.
I may have bought the wrong book.
Do you present the books?
Yeah, I pull. My face doesn't light up. Oops! Oh dear.
Yes, your Neftari kind of presents 3 books before you, Coralina, and as you read the titles, you can kind of gather what kind of books they are. I mean, you've been reading one of similar content on your travel with the party, not that they've noticed.
My ale is still in hand, yeah?
Yeah.
Bottoms up!
Bottoms up, right? Cool.
Oh, do you mind if I grab a glass?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
And what are you doing now, Carolina?
As soon as I've taken like a huge mouthful of it, swallow, and kind of put it down.
I mean, these books really what I think they are. I didn't know books had this stuff. I mean,
Paint some pink color in my face, so look up at him. Hey, books are pretty limitless in that aspect, yes.
And
No,
as you
well,
look up
like herbs and
to Neftari, the next time you see a creature within 10 minutes after drinking this filter, you become charmed by the creature for 1 hour. If the creature is of a species and gender you are normally attracted to, you regard it as your true love while you are charmed. This potion's rose hue iridescent liquid contains one easy to miss bubble shaped like a heart. So you are now officially charmed by Neftari for the next hour and regard him as your one true love.
How thick do you want me to lay this on?
As thick as you want to. As thick as Carolina would lay it on.
Okay.
Okay? Have fun, because I know you're going to.
Always.
Alright,
I don't
cool.
want you to show me.
Alright. Please, continue.
I was singing I Want to Know What Love Is, but numb.
I
Like
want to
the
know
book.
what love is. Yeah, please, sorry, Carolina, continue.
Well, yeah, they are pretty limitless in that aspect. They certainly are descriptive.
I mean, like, I opened the first page of the first book and start reading it. Yes, so Neftari's not very good at reading. Like I said before, he could read a menu.
It's almost an educational experience. Which book is Neftari holding?
Let's see. I want to know what love is.
Oh. I don't have reference with that one.
Oh.
She'll reach into her own bag of holding and pull out one of her books.
Mm-hmm.
The one she's been on is My Ward and My Lover.
Mm-hmm.
Flips to page 157.
Yeah.
Kind of offers it out open. Educational in that sense.
As you take a look over at Neftari, go ahead and roll me an intelligence check. And see how good you can actually read the small print of this book. And doing quite well, actually. All things considered.
Yeah,
it takes a while to get into it. Like it takes a while to get into it because you're like, it's reading. You know, I don't really do reading.
I mean, she skipped to the good part.
It starts to get really juicy and really detailed, and you. Okay, yeah, no, this is a book I could most definitely read. And it gets even juicier and juicier, and it's almost to the stage where you want to take the book from Carolina before you then realize that a copy of that book is currently in your hand.
DM, I'm not really getting the description here. Can you read a passage from
No,
this?
absolutely
I don't
not.
have passages prepared, you fuck.
Because if I read that out loud, I would get banned. So no.
It's not bad.
What does this word mean?
Oh God!
Don't you fucking dare say anything out loud.
Hang on, I have this.
Number 8
Oh,
equal
no.
sign equal sign equal sign.
This has nothing to do with the color grey. This is porn. That is very true. That is basically what is going on right now. Oh my fucking god.
Neftari would be
I
sweating.
knew this was coming. Phrasing. But I still wasn't prepared for this. Oh my god.
You were not prepared.
I was not prepared. That's as good as my Liam O'Brien's going to get.
Neftari reaches for the jug of ale.
Yeah. And you know, it just tastes like ale. It's just like the same dribble that you drank from Alex's bar before.
I think we'll settle down to read.
All right. So you guys settle down to read, unless there's anything else you want to do, Carolina?
Well, I mean, if you're, I don't know, having issues with translation or something like that, I could definitely help.
Yeah, he probably has trouble with the big words and has to have a few things explained to him.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, I can just, I guess, look over your shoulder.
So is that what you guys are doing? Like, Neftari, you reading the book while Carolina kind of looks over your shoulder?
I don't know. Do we fade to black here and, leave it up to everyone's imagination?
I mean, unless that is what you two have agreed upon. Then,
I mean, I think you're saying pretty PG at the moment.
if you want to stay PG, then there's no fade to black. Abso-fucking-lutely not.
No, I'm saying for the moment.
Aye, but still.
It's just more of like reading over the shoulder, but like she has physically gotten closer.
Yes, I know.
What does this word mean?
So another
Just see
name for
Neftari
it.
sat there going, oh, what's that word?
That
Oh,
says
really?
feathers.
Oh, so that's a different, that's a strange word for it. I think I'll name mine that. Anyway, we're going to move on to the others are down the stairs.
Thank
But like
goodness.
when she pronounces a word, it's like she's like physically like maybe a few inches away from his face and like just says like, you know, pronouncing what it is.
Ballast.
Oh.
Moist.
I will move it.
Right.
Moist.
Oof.
Oh god, I fucking hate you all so much.
So anyway, Victoralis. Anyway, Victoralis. I took him into a bookshop, and I was just thinking, wouldn't it be nice to get a present for Coralina?
That's very thoughtful of you, Temple.
Yes, and this strange old lady. Well, she suggested some books way at the end of the store. We went over, and they had the strangest names. But we thought, well, Coralina loves to read, and this one, I want to know what love is, sounds like a wonderful romance story. So I suggested that Neftari buy it for Coralina. He's probably giving her a book as we speak.
I can imagine he probably is. Quite romantic, really, isn't it, Temple?
I wouldn't know, really, but it seemed like a good gift, and Neftari certainly was very excited about reading it.
Phrasing.
Well, if the books that Coralina's acquired up to this point are anything to go by, yeah, I'm sure he's broadening his mind.
It must be confusing for a wizard, though, having so many books to go through. You've got your spell books, and then you've got books like this. Can you imagine how horrific it would be if we were in the middle of combat and Coralina got out a copy of I Want to Know What Love Is? When she had intended to cast a spell, but instead summoned a wonderful romantic story.
Or something more passionate, perhaps. Could make things awkward in battle. We'll be aware
Might
of
be
that
quite
in future. Temple.
advantageous.
There's a centerfold in the middle.
Right. As you guys are having this conversation, Victorious, as you kind of glance out, you see that the the human individuals that were kind of like regaling their tales with Dravaroth have like decided that they too are now going to vacate the main floor of the Broken Candle. Dravaroth is now there by himself in that same dark corner. He's, as you glance over, he doesn't meet your gaze, but you can see that he's scanning over the room.
Well, I'm not sure if the rest of you want to join me, but I'm gonna go and make a nuisance of myself.
Oh, we'll come with.
Sounds like just a complicated way of saying shenanigans.
Have we? So this horrendous war dropper that we made, is that still in like some kind of container?
It's still in like he basically got about half a tankard's worth.
Excellent. I'll take that with us then.
Okay.
I'm gonna slowly walk up to the table. That's good to see you again.
Of
We're
course.
fortunate enough to have returned relatively unscathed. It's quite the adventure.
No, it would be unfortunate if you had perished while you were out in the wilderness. But it is good to see that you have returned. I'm assuming the former paid you handsomely.
They did actually. At this point, I'm going to take a seat. Just
Mhm.
presume that he's basically given me permission. I'm gonna...
Yeah, he's like sat in the back corner. There's a spot directly next to him, and then there's two vacant spots across from him.
Dollar will sit down next to Victoralis with her water.
Okay.
Yes, my companions and I have, been paid extremely well. So, should you require a top up of your drink or any food, we would be happy to cover your expenses. How have things been here in the last day or two?
They've been slow. One as old as I doesn't get offered much work these days. But I have a sizable amount of gold myself that I can live comfortably until my day finally comes.
Sort of work do you generally undertake? I mean, we're off gallivanting into fields and slaying metal dog creatures, and a man of your stature, what kind of work is there for you here?
I've done many of those things myself. I've trekked through the halls of Pandemonium, climbed through the 9 levels of hell, even dove into the abyss for a while. It's interesting work when the gods are shining down on you.
Can I see at this point whether he's wearing that same pendant?
Yeah, directly, like, since you're directly before him, he is not wearing it. Or at least not visibly wearing it.
I'd like Talara to be just silently, just kind of studying him, but not
Mhm.
like with a very intent "I'm staring at you"
Hmm.
look. Just kind of like,
Every so often, just like glance up to him and take in a few details, and then glance away, and then go
yeah,
back and take in more details of him. Yeah. What are you trying to ascertain from him?
just she's not sure yet, but she's not sure if he's someone to be trusted or not.
Okay.
This is her first experience with him, so
Okay. We'll get you an insight check soon enough. It'll take you a little while to like properly gauge him. But he does, like, as you like glance over to him every now and then, you do see that he, like, more often than not, he's looking at you as well. But why do you ask? I'm sure the bounties that are available are better suited for young, adventurous people such as yourself.
Well, that's the thing. We came here looking for somebody.
Hmm.
We came from Stillman, as I said before, trying to make contact, but the details were so vague. All we could do was come here and hope for the best, and we were hoping for some clues on our little mission.
Have you seen any clues?
Well, an eagle-eyed friend of ours caught a glimpse of something that may indicate we possibly need to be speaking to a silver dragonborn such as yourself.
Eagle-eyed or hawk-eyed?
Maybe more hawk-eyed.
Hmm.
We've been sent to send warning. Can I use my minor illusion to create a tiny little effect of the myriad symbol,
Mm-hmm.
a representation of his pendant that presumably he is wearing or was
Assumedly
wearing?
he's wearing, yes.
We're here looking for this,
Hmm.
and we
Kind
have a
of
feeling that
leans
may
in
have something.
towards you. Now tell me, are you for or against?
It's not our business to be for or against.
I will ask you one more time. You will answer the question, and I will warn you now. Answer incorrectly, and I will kill you. Are you for or against?
And I will answer you once again. We are neither for nor against. We were simply sent with a mission and a message. Do not dabble in the business as such.
Who is the message for?
Well, unfortunately, due to the circumstances of us leaving Stilben, that was unclear, hence me talking to you now. We were only told that we may find the contact that we need in WestRuun, and that there may have already, or there may soon, be travel by the caravan from Whitestone to WestRuun through.
Well, I can tell you, the caravan has already passed through. Passed through not long after you left, I'm afraid.
Well, in which case, they may already know, and we may be too late, but
They didn't stop. I don't think they are aware of what you are trying to do.
do you know the name Suri?
I do not.
Then perhaps you're not the person we're looking for. I'm going to sit back and take a club on my ale.
Mm. I'm not your contact. But you will have a contact in Whitestone now. The Myriad will leave a speaker in a location where they're set up. They didn't get an opportunity to set up here. Mainly because the government will not allow it. Nor would I. Unfortunately, being what I am, I stand out too much. I can't actively prevent their setup. So they moved on. And now they will continue to move on. Their next destination, I could not tell you. You have many places that they can stop by as they head south. Karakhammer, Iman, Singor.
Understood. Our desire is not to cause conflict, but to unite. There is a great evil coming, and those differences that organizations and peoples of certain followings may have found in the past will soon become irrelevant.
You were telling me that the Revenite that runs the clasp wants to join with the Myriad.
An uneasy ceasefire, you could call it.
There is no honor among thieves. Given the opportunity, either one will stab you in the back.
Yes, but stabbing people in the back is probably very low on the priority list when your feet are bathed in the fires of hell.
Given the opportunity, given only one choice but two options, which would you side with? If you could only take one.
One guild, one side.
Mm-hmm.
That's not. We're not from this land. It's not our continent.
Just
Our
answer the
continent.
question. Please, humor me.
Well,
You don't have. There is no. Neither. It doesn't matter to you. If you could only take one in your grand quest of unity, which one?
seeing as we have reason to believe that the Myriad have been working with the people who are trying to bring about this abomination, I would say that our allegiances would probably lie with the clasp.
Hmm. Kind of turns away. Looks deep in thought for a few moments. Good. I don't have to kill you now. The Myriad are. They are not good people.
That we've seen.
I've lost many friends to them. They may be a thieves' guild, but they do not hesitate to get their hands dirty. They shadow as an assassin's guild. They're not afraid to dispatch people who are a threat to them. A few of my friends were threats. I use that.
Well,
He kind of slowly lifts up the pendant, like from under his chest plate, and shows it to you. Is a vein of trust. The Myriad recognize it, but inverted to the naked eye, it has no meaning. To you, it will have no meaning, but to me, it means everything.
now you understand why my line of questioning was so vague.
You could not trust me.
Precisely. Well, from here, we intend to travel to Whitestone, I'd imagine. We know that they're working towards this great evil. We know that they are a part of it. However, if this hellish apocalypse does arrive on this continent, our priorities are not to meddle in the business of thieves' guilds. It will be to form alliances and put up the best defense that we possibly can.
Well, if that is the case, and you're wanting to forge an alliance, you will have my aid. I can trust you, from what I can tell. If you want more information as to where the caravan is going to next, Whitestone will be your best bet. The Lord and Lady of Whitestone will. They know everything that happens within the walls. I would try and seek an audience with them. If your myriad has left a speaker in Whitestone, they will be able to tell you who.
Slowly clip this bird's wings. See where it takes us.
Mm-hmm.
Whitestone it is. By the way, this cocktail is rather splendid. I really do recommend you try some. I'm going to take another little sip of it.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a con save.
God.
Even the tiniest little sip, con save. Yeah, it goes down. It's still got that really fresh feeling, but you're used to it now. You know what it can do, so you're able to resist it. You watch as Dravroth kind of takes it up, swirls it around in the tankard, gives it a sniff. It's an interesting concoction. Downs the rest of it. Minty. Land of salt.
Well,
Custom?
sorry, Talar. Yes, we made it up today.
Interesting.
You have our friend Temple here to thank for the inspiration.
Well, it was a delicious drink. And if you're able to provide me the ingredients, I may want more.
Of course, by all means. And I'll I don't know, for that I wouldn't have a pen and paper. I'll just I'll use my minor illusion again. Write them down on the table.
And he actually pulls out like a small notebook and quill. The notebook is actually quite thick, and a lot of the pages are like either like are damaged or some are burnt, some are torn. He seems to be the kind of person that takes in a lot of notes during his travels. You're hot micing, by the way, Evelyn.
I'm what?
You're hot micing. You're constantly broadcasting. We can hear you breathing and your fan and stuff like that.
I'm on push to talk, so I don't know how that's happening. I'll figure it out.
Cool. So he takes down the ingredients. Takes them down in his notepad. No, I would highly recommend that you go and get some rest. Tomorrow, you head to Whitestone, and when you seek out the Lord and Lady, I would be very courteous. The Briarwoods are dangerous people.
Briarwoods.
And
Okay.
with that, we're going to call that for tonight's session. Because it is 25 past 11. I am not staying awake again for super long amounts of time. And I'm up at 5 tomorrow for work.
I mean, let's be honest here. You just don't want it to be more awkward when you flip back over.
Yes. Just a little bit. Now, we'll continue that on next week. That, and I really need to go to the toilet. I'm not gonna lie.
Neftari was suddenly going to remember about the story about the Dragonborn asking questions about where they'd gone. But yeah, I was going to message you to say I'm going to assume that he sort of randomly just stuck his head out the bedroom and looked down and saw you all talking about. Oh well, it's too late now.
Well, you wouldn't have been able to do that because you're like Corleona's room. Corleona and Talar's room is at the very far back of the hall, So you would have had to have left the room, go down the hall, and then look down the stairs to see them conversing with the Dragonborn. It's not like you don't have immediate view down into the main foyer.
Yeah, he don't remember and go, I can wait till morning.
Anyway,
And then for
with that, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go back onto Twitch and take a look for D&D streams and stuff, and potentially go and host someone who is playing yet another game of D&D to keep the Dungeons and Dragons going. Let's take a look, see here. Can't even see ourselves up on this. Oh yeah, nope, there we are, like practically right at the bottom. Typical. Hey, no surprises there. But anyway, let's take a look. Ooh, these guys look like they're going on an airship of sorts. So that looks interesting. So we're going to host these guys, or this person whose name is Whitco. So we will host him, and keep the D&D going. But before we do that, once again, I do hope you guys have all enjoyed tonight's session. Again, a bit more RP heavy, but you know, I do like getting a mix of combat and social encounters and shit going, so it's not all just dungeon dive, kill shit, and get loot.
And plenty of time for smutty books.
Yeah,
Apparently.
Money works.
I mean, as I've said, this is your story. I'm just the fucking narrator. If you guys want to dive into smutty books and stuff, then go right a fucking head. I can't physically stop you, so I mean, can't fucking believe that. Anyway, with that, we are going to call an end to tonight's session. We all hope that you have enjoyed watching us and sticking through us. Everything's going to be going up onto YouTube in the next few days, including last week's session, which will be rendered tonight, going into tomorrow, and then tonight's session on Monday morning, going to Tuesday morning. So everything should be all up to date and nice and ready to go for Tuesday afternoon. But with that, we hope you have enjoyed, and we will see you next week, adventurers. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye.